Good day children. Today we will be continuing the grammar part of the lesson A Letter to God. You all of you can take page number 8 so that you can get an idea how to write the same. Page number 8 you can see the last question given there. Notice how the word hope is used in these sentences from the story. So here they are saying how they use the word hope. First sentence you see, I hope it, the hailstorm, passes quickly. So here the author is stressing on the word hope. There was a single hope held from God. In both the sentence you can see that they have stressed on the word hope. Hope is verb when you wish for something, and in the first sentence hope is verb there, and in the second it is noun. How this happens you will be seeing in the next page there. You have to match the sentences in column A with column B there. Okay, we will come back to the same sentence, first sentence. Here in the first sentence, why hope is verb. All of you know verb is action word. And in the first sentence, I hope it passes quickly. Here hope is the hailstorm. Hailstorm is a storm that all of you know. With small droplets of rain. The storm also is going on. And here what the action is taking place, so it is verb. Whereas in the second sentence, there was a single hope held from God. They are thinking of getting something from God. There is a hope. They are having faith in God. Whom? God. So in the second sentence, the same word hope becomes noun because it is related to God. Noun all of you know, which gives any name. All naming words are called nouns. In simple, all naming words are noun. Here the word hope is related to God. God also comes under noun. So in the second sentence, the word hope is noun. So you come to the next page, that is page number 9. Here you have to match the sentences there. So first sentence I will read out. Will you get the subjects you want to study in college? You have to match this particular sentence here. I hope so. Here what they are saying, is it possible, not possible? You have to match it here, and you can see which sentence is matching there. Have a look in the section B, the first sentence. So what is the question given in section A? That is, will you get the subjects you want to study in college? I hope so. Is it matching with the sentence, a feeling that something good will happen? You can guess it. I will give you 1 second time. All the sentence you can go through once. In column B, the first sentence is matching with the fourth sentence in column B. That is, wanting something to happen and thinking it quite possible. That is what matching here. And the second sentence, I hope you don't mind my saying this, but I do not like the way you are arguing. That is matching with, second sentence is matching with sentence 5. Here you can see on the board also. First sentence is matching with 4. Second sentence is matching with 5. You have to match. Then third sentence, this discovery will give new hope to HIV/AIDS sufferers. So that will match with the first sentence, a feeling that something good will probably happen. Something is going to happen good. Here now you can do one work. All of you can match. You just match it, and afterwards take 10 minutes time. Sit and read the sentence in column A as well as in B. So your fourth sentence is matching with 6 in column B. and fifth sentence is matching with 2 in column B. Sixth sentence is matching with 3. I think all of you have made a note of it. As I told you, take time, sit and go through once, read once, so that now you will be able to understand how hope in each sentence, how hope has been used as verb as well as noun. Now let us come to the next grammar part, that is relative clause. First, what is relative? Relative means when two sentences, how it is getting connected. In what way we can connect. So, you know, some sentences we use. The person whom I met yesterday was my teacher. The person, again we are not saying the person I met yesterday. We say the person who I met. Here the word which who we are using, that is called relative clause. So what all words we can use as relative clause? Here you can see who, whom, which, that. These are the words which we use in relative clause. Then what is clause? Clause is group of words. A group of words is called clause, and it is only one part of a sentence. Only one part of a sentence is called as clause. For example, he plays cricket regularly. He plays also is giving a meaning. It's a group of words. He plays cricket regularly. That is a group of words. So what is clause? Clause is group of words. Again, one more thing we have to remember in clause, we should have subject and verb. Subject and verb. What is subject? About what we are talking. If you are talking about a person, that is a subject. If you are talking about something, that becomes a subject there. So in this sentence, he plays cricket regularly. He is a subject. For a clause, we need group of words. He plays cricket regularly. And what we need in a clause, we need subject as well as verb. Subject is he here and verb is play. Play is the, what is verb? All action words are called verb. So he plays, here we have got the center clause. He plays cricket regularly, which means a group of words. And one part of the sentence is also called as clause. Again we can divide the clause into two, independent clause and dependent clause. Independent, all of you know, separate. When a group of sentence is giving complete meaning, it is independent. But if it is again related to something, it becomes relative clause. You can, for example, you can see how we can make out whether it is dependent clause or independent clause. If you see here, this is an example, you may sit. You may sit means it is understood you have to sit. This is independent. Again, no need of depending something. No other sentence need to depend on that. It is understood you may sit. But if I give you the sentence wherever you like. If I say wherever you like means what? Incomplete sentence. It should be depend on something. So how it will be dependent? If we add you may sit wherever you like, it becomes a complete sentence. And here we have used the example, you may sit wherever you like. So I think you understood what is independent clause and dependent clause. When a sentence is depend on other sentence to get it complete sense, it becomes dependent clause there. Now we will be coming to your text, or if you have a look at your text there. Relative clause, page number 9. So first sentence you can see, all morning Lencho, who knows his field intimately. I told you what is relative clause? Who, whom, which and that. In this sentence, relative clause is who. Here we need not use all morning Lencho. Lencho knew his fields intimately. Lencho knew it is going to rain. Again and again we need not use Lencho, Lencho, Lencho. we can use who because he is a person. Now in the second sentence, the woman who was preparing supper replied, yes, God willing. So in the second sentence also they have used the word relative clause there, who they have used. I think you got an idea what is relative clause. Now directly you will come to the exercise there given at the bottom of the page. Join the sentences given below using who, whom, whose, which as suggested. So first sentence I will do it for you. Rest of it you have to do it yourself, and these answers will be sent by me through PDF. Okay, I will give you 1 day time, complete it. So first sentence you see, I often go to Mumbai. Mumbai is the commercial capital of India. In this question you see, I often go to Mumbai. Full stop is being given there. Mumbai is the commercial capital of India. Now we have to join these two sentences using who, whom, which, whose, any of this word we have to use. Now you can have a guess which word we can use. You can use the word which instead of Mumbai there. Again and again we need not repeat Mumbai, Mumbai. So what you have to do, the answer will be like this. I often go to Mumbai. Full stop will become comma. And you will be using which is the commercial capital of India. Already they have given in the bracket which word we have to use. Now we will come to the second sentence there. This also I will do it for you. Rest I think 3 sentences are given. You will be doing yourself that. My mother is going to host a TV show on cooking. She cooks very well. Here one thing you have to remember, after the noun we will be using relative clause. In the first example you can see after Mumbai, first sentence you can see after Mumbai we have used which. In the second sentence, where is the noun? Mother. My mother, and what I told you, after noun you will be using the relative clause. So my mother, you will come to the last words there. My mother who cooks very well. Last sentence of this second question you see what it is given, she cooks very well. Here after my mother we have to use that sentence because after noun we will be using relative clause there. So you can take down the answer here. My mother who cooks very well. After my mother put a comma. Who cooks very well put a comma. Is going to host a TV show on cooking. The rest of the sentence is the same as given in the question. Once again I am reading out. My mother who cooks very well is going to host a TV show on cooking. After my mother you have to give a comma, and after very well, who cooks very well, a comma, and after last word cooking, full stop. So the next 3 sentences do it on your own. Now you come to the question 4, page number 10. Here you have to find the negative words from the text. This is also one example I will be giving you. Rest you will be doing on your own. For example, the first sentence. Directly come to the exercises there. The first sentence. The trees lost all their leaves. So, how a sentence can become negative? When we will be using the words like no, never, not. Negative words, when we use, the sentence become negative. We can write this sentence, this particular sentence, the tree lost all their leaves. We can write it in a negative way also, and we have to find it from the text. So you can see in the text where this sentence has been given in negative. One I will give to you as example. So all of you can come to page number 4, last paragraph, first line. What is given there? Page number 4, last paragraph, first line. What is given? Not a leaf remained on the trees. So the meaning is the same there. Here what has been used? A negative word has been used, not. I think you got it. What is the question given? The tree lost all their leaves. We have to find the negative sentence from the text. So that answer is given in page number 4. Not a leaf remained on the trees. Rest you will be doing on your own. Still 2 sentences are given there. Then we will come to the next page, metaphors. Metaphor is a figure of speech or poetic device. Now what is metaphor? Metaphor is comparing the same qualities as another thing. Just comparing two things which has the same quality, but we will be comparing one thing to another. Now I will give you the example so you can understand better. What is metaphor? Comparing a thing which is not same. You take two things. Just as human being and animal. Comparing human being to animal, what qualities we are comparing? When we compare like that, it is called as metaphor. He shouts like a lion. He is a human being and his voice is compared to just like lion. Roaring like lion. Roaring just like lion. So here you can see the example which I have given here. The snow is a white blanket. Here the sentence is the snow. Snow, all of you know, is compared to white blanket. When we can compare snow to a white blanket? When we will be seeing the clouds in the sky. We can say it is just like white blanket out. What is compared? Snow. Snow is a different thing and blanket is different. But these two are compared and given a quality there. That is called as metaphor. So here also you can see we have to find some metaphors from the story. Again you have to go through the text and you have to find the metaphors. Directly you come to the exercises there, all of you. So object, metaphor, quality or feature compared. So here they have given this, and first one is done for you, cloud. Cloud means metaphor, they have given. Even this also is from your text only. Huge mountains of clouds. Meaning you have to write on your own what is cloud. The mass or hugeness of mountains. How it is compared. What is the feature compared there. Cloud means huge mountain of clouds. So how is a cloud compared here? Just like mountains. Cloud and mountains are same? No. Even then it has been compared. So huge mountain of clouds. So what is the quality or feature compared there? About the size they have compared. How much big? Now second sentence you see, raindrops. Raindrops, what is a metaphor? Now this also you should find out from the text. So I will give this also one example I will be giving you. Rest you will be doing on your own. Raindrops you see, come to page number 4 again. Paragraph 2, second line. A curtain of rain. So you can see the author how he has used instead of directly using the word raindrops, what he has used? A curtain of rain. What is the metaphor there? A curtain of rain. Why metaphors, similes, oxymorons? Why this type of figures of speech are used? Only to make the language beautiful. Okay. So, I think you got this. Second example for you I am giving you. Raindrops is a curtain of rain. This sentence you have to read the lesson, a letter to God, and find out the metaphors from the text. And a curtain of rain is given in page number 4, second line. In the second line it has been given. Rest of this all you have to do on your own. And what you can give the feature compared for raindrops. What is the feature compared? Covering an area. So what they are saying, it is, you can see raindrops also cover the whole area. Even a curtain here they are used for comparison. So what is the curtain doing here? It is covering an area. This is the feature compared. So with this we will be completing our grammar part also. All of you do it, all the exercises given in the text. Already I have explained you, and within 2 days I will be giving you the answers. I will send you the answers. Okay, thank you students.